Hello and welcome to the GT Online Academy Back to School Informational Night for 2020. First of all, I want to introduce you to the 4 teachers for these GT online courses. My name is Craig Walker. I teach the science courses. Laura Mace teaches the social studies courses. Penelope Heineck teaches language arts. And Brady Yarlitz teaches math. All 4 of us are what are known as adjunct teachers. This is always something that we get questions about from parents and sometimes students as well. And there are certain details that we want to go over with you to make sure that you understand what that means for your student. So an adjunct just means that we are not, in this position, we are not full-time employees of JVA, but we work on a contractual basis of sorts. All 4 of us have other full-time jobs in education. I myself am a GT resource teacher that works at a variety of different schools throughout the district, providing support for our gifted learners and the teachers of those students. Penelope Heineck is in the same role as well. Brady Yarlitz teaches math at the GT Center program at Creighton Middle School. And Laura Mace teaches, in addition to JVA, she teaches at CDLS and a variety of other online platforms. So you may ask, why do we have adjuncts in these positions? Well, one of the nice things about this is that we are able to promote new classes, programs, and opportunities for students that we may not necessarily have the enrollment numbers right off the bat to be able to support a full-time position. And so it allows us to come up with new courses. In fact, these courses themselves are only in their 3rd year at this point. And it allowed us to propose the idea of providing these opportunities for our gifted learners across the district and implement these while not having to worry about supporting a full-time teachers and getting enough students in the program in order to do that. So one of the things that parents and students will need to understand, though, is that as adjunct teachers, we do not have a set time that we are necessarily in front of the computer, more or less waiting for students to maybe ask questions or monitoring things right in a live format. The important thing to understand for students especially is that if they have a question, absolutely reach out to your teacher, email your teacher, and ask that question. Just understand that you may need to provide some time for that teacher to get back with you. The most time that we should be taking is 1 business day, but please acknowledge that that teacher may be in a meeting for their other job. They may actually be helping out students in one of their other classes. They may have some other responsibilities for their full-time position. And what I always like to tell students is that once you send that email, just go ahead and switch gears and work on something for another class until you hear back from that teacher and get that clarification that you need. So it also provides students an opportunity to be a little flexible and jump around between their different courses when those opportunities arise. So all of JVA is set up as what's known as an asynchronous model. So asynchronous means that students are never required to be logged in or be in front of a live session at any one particular time. And there are reasons for this. Some of them are more logistical in the fact that we have students from all across Jefferson County, multiple schools, different schedules. Many of our students, in fact, the majority of our students are what we call part-time students. So they may only take 1, 2, 3 classes through JVA in this GT program, and then the rest of their courses they take through their home middle school. And if we think about that scenario, it's really not reasonable to have any one time where we could have all students be required to be in front of a live lecture or a discussion or anything along those lines, because we're trying to be flexible with all of those different schedules and schools and programs and everything along those lines. So one of the advantages also of the asynchronous model is the fact that students are learning to manage their time. And what we do is we provide students a weekly schedule. So students will receive 1 week of work 1 week worth of work at a time, and they have the week to complete that work. And all of the courses contain within them a variety of different, we each have our own style of doing this, but each of us have a model that will show students how to work on the materials for the week and complete that by the end of the week, by their due dates. Students can choose to be flexible in that, though. They may choose to, for example, work on all of their science materials on Monday and Tuesday and then be done by Tuesday. And then they may work on their math on Wednesday and Thursday and then finish that by Thursday and be done for the week. So students have that flexibility. It's also nice for any students who may have outside obligations, if they're competitive athletes or in any other after-school programs that may have some meetings or practices during the normal school day. This allows students to be, it allows students to be flexible and work on the materials during the time of day when is most convenient for them and their families. JVA has also been using this model for well over a decade to serve students across JEFCO, and we found that this is the most effective way. The 1 week at a time gives students the opportunity to plan out and structure their schedule, to work on their time management skills, while at the same time not having this be overwhelming for those students and giving them too much work at one time. So some of the benefits of asynchronous learning. One of the things that is very difficult for educators, I will tell you from experience, for educators, for parents, for schools to let go of, is that seat time is not necessarily equivalent to learning time. So one of the things we have to understand is that while we will provide students a general outline of how long some things should take, some students may finish certain assignments, certain projects in their class much quicker, and that's fine. We have to think about what we would like students to learn for that week, and we provide the resources for them to learn that information, that content. And if they learn it in less time than we had estimated, that's okay. Our biggest focus is around student learning. It's not about the amount of time in front of a screen or logging hours in a particular program or content. It's about hitting those standards and learning the information that they need to learn. Like I had mentioned before, there's a ton of flexibility to work around other classes and extracurricular activities, and this helps students in the long run plan. And we know as adults that a lot of times we have a lot more flexibility than we did when we were in school to finish certain things, and we could choose to not spend any time at all on one day working on a project that we have to complete for our jobs, but just knowing that then we have more work to do that next day, and many of us plan that information out as we go. So all four of us, kind of circling back to us as the instructors, all four of us have our endorsement from the Colorado Department of Education as what are called GT specialists on our license. And like I went over before, the instructors that you saw at the beginning are a mix of GT Center teachers and resource teachers. Best way to get a hold of your teachers, in general, email is the best. Each of us do provide in our courses contact information, and you can look in that Schoology course to find what that particular teacher would prefer, but email is generally the best. For more complex issues, we can set up phone calls, video conferences, and we usually prefer that if the questions become more complicated or we find ourselves going back and forth in an email chain. It's many times just easier to give that student a call or set up a Zoom or Google Meet and get some of that information to the student and make sure that we get anything cleared up that they need help with. One other question that we have had is, if your student is a full-time JVA student, they are likely enrolled in a study hall. The study hall is part of their course schedule. It is provided as extra support. It is not designed to be additional work. It's only a pass-fail for the course as an elective credit, and it'll be based on participation in the discussion boards. The purpose of this is to help provide students with a support system as more of a check-in, so we can monitor how they're doing. They have someone they can connect with every day around just how the courses in general are going, how being completely online or completely remote, how they're adjusting to that, those kinds of things. Lastly, during this original meeting, we gave a course tour, but if you scroll down on our website near the bottom, we have created those in the past. We have created course tours for all 4 of our courses that are available for you to get a little bit of a snapshot of what the Schoology course looks like and how it might differ a bit from your math to your science, language arts, social studies courses, and how each of those are structured. Well, thank you for joining, and please let any of your teachers know if you have any questions, or if you have general questions and you haven't enrolled in these courses but are thinking about this in the future. Please feel free to email me, Craig Walker. Again, all my contact information is also here on our GT Online Academy website.